Welcome to Tima Talk, the YouTube channel for people like me that understand that living for God is not the easiest path to walk on. I believe it is so important to share what we learn along the way. So, I want to take you guys back to the beginning. Back to when I was a baby Christian. Back to when it all started. No, not that far back. Just a few years ago. I think it was around the age of 20. When I was a sophomore in college, I met with my friend's mentor who wanted to meet with me because she had a word for me. Back then, I didn't know what that meant, so I was a little skeptical.
Oh my gosh, Fatima, this is the prophet that I wanted to introduce you to.
I was actually surprised that she was so fabulous. In my mind, I pictured a prophet to be so outdated. This was definitely not the case. We were having dinner, and as we began to talk about our passions in life, she said, "God is telling me something."
Fatima, she real. She the illest. She the truth.
I've never experienced that. It was like seeing a psychic or something. She proceeded to pull out her Bible, and she read Matthew 16:24 through 26. She read the verse and said, "God is showing me that you are living on the fence and that you're hesitant about crossing over and living for Him." After hearing this, I couldn't deny this truth, but it hurt to know that this is how God was seeing me. I was not totally committed to Him, and frankly, it was because I was scared. So what happened after I heard this word from God? I'll tell you what happened. Jesus. I got down on my knees and said, "Lord, I give it all up, and I will live for you from this day forward." Every day I would come home and dive right into the next chapter of the Word. I joined a Bible study group, and I even got rebaptized. Well, kinda. Okay, to be real with you guys, none of that actually happened. As a matter of fact, the opposite happened. I grew frustrated because I didn't know how to give myself entirely to the Lord. So I ended up having my most turned days ever.
Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
I was frustrated and just assumed that the Christ walk wasn't for me because it seemed way too complicated. Of course I prayed and reverenced Him on a daily, but I was just so disconnected. I was on the fence. I had one foot in and one foot out. These late night prayers became the norm. And once I started to see myself, I knew something had to change. I knew I had to surrender to God. The problem is, I didn't know how. It was 3 long years of going back and forth, until I finally had my breakthrough with God. I finally understood that getting out of the world isn't an overnight process. It's a daily process that requires, yep, you guessed it, partnering with God. God wants us with all of our imperfections. I had to be completely transparent and say, "Lord, I deeply desire the things of this world. Help me to desire what you want for my life. Change my heart." Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. God isn't just some magician. He wants to work with us. He wants to activate something within us. But in order to do this, you have to seek Him. Delighting in the world will give you desires. Trust, I know what it's like to desire that man that you know is not good for you. I know what it's like to want to turn up. I was addicted to going out. I was out on a Tuesday. I was out on a Thursday. That was me. And that's the thing about desires from the world. They seem desirable. They seem like they'll fulfill you, but they always leave you feeling empty. But as I began to partner with God and delight in Him, my desires shifted and they were directly from Him. So the question I have for you, are you ready to get off the fence and partner with God? And don't beat yourself up if it doesn't happen overnight. Don't mock the process. The process is a beautiful thing. So take it a day at a time and seek God. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and stay tuned for the next Tima Talk.